The NDP are not a serious party. Also, Jagmeet Singh is an idiot. Lately, this boundless font of perpetual economic illiteracy has been raising a big stink because one of the Conservative Party strategists double dips as a lobbyist for Loblaws. And Loblaws is a super evil giant corporation that has made groceries super expensive. Is that true? Probably. But there's more to it. You see, this, like everything else in Ottawa, including the fucking canal, smells like shit. So let's grab a shovel and let's start shoveling. You see, Jenny Byrne is some kind of untitled strategist in Pierre Poilievre's inner circle. Also, she has a company. Spoiler alert, it has a lame fucking name. Jenny Byrne and Associates has 6 employees listed as provincial, not federal, lobbyists for Loblaws. And if you're reading this on CBC, that's pretty much where the story ends. The Toronto Star, to its fleeting credit, noted the lobbying notes as, quote, reducing red tape within the cannabis sector and to promote energy conservation opportunities. So basically, they want more free fucking fridges. That way, they can hotbox the icebox. It's not really the excess profits angle Singh has been raving about like some crazy apocalypse preacher on a soapbox, but the more important thing to note here is that she is not one of these lobbyists. She, and this is important, has direct ties to a federal party while also being a bigwig at a company where the people who work underneath her are lobbying for a grocery cartel. Is she taking an active part in it? Maybe. Maybe not. Probably. I have no fucking idea how any of this Machiavellian Ottawa shit flies. She pays her mortgage with the money they give her company, but what the fuck do I know? I'm just a regular ass dude who, unlike them, have actually had to work for my money. It looks greasier than week old sushi farts, but for the sake of not getting my ass sued, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt here and keep my opinions to myself. But regardless, Jagmeet Singh thinks this is some kind of a crazy gotcha moment and he can take a page out of Catherine Tate's playbook and milk the gig until the whole thing spoils. Because doing shit like this is totally wrong, right? We all need to be above board in government, and the NDP are leading by example, right? Right? You see, Jagmeet Singh is what you might call oblivious or stupid or a complete buffoon who is entirely detached from reality and probably has weird nipples. Enter his brother, Guritan. Now, you'd be forgiven for not knowing who Guritan Singh is because he's approximately as remarkable as his brother. He was, however, an MPP in Ontario for 4 years and is probably best known for offering his services to Ontario's finest. Now, he's the vice president of a lobbying company, Crestview. Crestview is, among other things, a lobbyist for Metro. Now, if you're wondering who the fuck Metro is, you're probably from the West. They're a grocery store who has 1,628 locations in Ontario and fucking Quebec. In fact, they're the 3rd largest grocery chain in Canada. And Jagmeet Singh's brother, and this is important, has direct ties to a federal party while also being a bigwig at a company where the people who work underneath him are lobbying for a grocery cartel.
Ironic, isn't it?
I'm not sure that's technically irony.
What? This is like O. Henry and Alanis Morissette had a baby and named it this exact situation.
So look, Jagmeet, shit talk the Conservatives as much as you want for what is probably a very real situation. But before you go too far down that rabbit hole, have the minimal synoptic ability required to realize it's actually a tunnel and your dumbass is on the other end. I get that it's frustrating to have so many complete idiots in Ottawa, folks, but just take a minute to appreciate how truly and properly fucked we would all be if the socialists ever decided to put forth a candidate who wasn't a total schmuck. And Jagmeet? People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, no matter how small and pathetic their arms are. There's more to this greedy CEO thing. Yeah, we've all noticed how goddamn expensive everything is. The illustrious Jagmeet Singh would have you believe it's because only in the last few years CEOs realized they could make money and have been price gouging everyone in Canada ever since. It's as if the CEO of Loblaws finally woke up one morning and said, I have an idea. What if we use this corporation we have that we've been running for literal fucking decades to turn a profit? And then his chief financial officer said, what happened to you, Galen? You used to be a reasonable man. We used to give all this shit away for free. And now you want us to charge? What do you think this is? A government contract to develop a travel app? It's as if Jagmeet thinks that greed is some new fucking thing that was just invented in 2021. Well, guess what? We're going to do a little thing I like to call bar napkin math. If you want to spend $100 on groceries, you first have to make roughly 150. Of that 100 you net, 5% goes right off the top to GST. Now, companies like Loblaws don't have enough granularity in their financials to really dive deep, but we can look at comparables. The US-based Community Developed Financial Institutions, or CDFI, released aggregate data for US grocers in 2011. It's not perfect for this, but that's why it's called bar napkin math. If we tweak the numbers a little bit so they line up with the Loblaws 2023 net profit margin, we get something that looks like this. Of the $95.24 spent on groceries before GST, $10.67 is wages. The government takes about a third of that. And also, believe it or not, take 100% of all the taxes and licensing fees. Assume a 5% margin on all other expenses except utilities, where at $7.77 per gig
21 gigawatts!
where at $7.77 per gigajoule plus 4.095 in carbon taxes plus GST, the government takes about 37.6%. Subtract all depreciation and amortization expenses, because that's all money that the government would have otherwise gotten. Apply the same standards to the cost of goods sold, despite that groceries are FOB destination, and you have a very conservative $9.02 out of every 100 spent at the grocery store going towards taxes. If you consider how much you have to earn to spend it, it's about $158.27. But even if you stick with the $9, that's almost triple the $3.33 that Loblaws keeps for their greedy, evil selves every time you drop a Borden in on one of their stores. Here's another way to think about it. If you spend $1,000 on groceries every month, the evil corporation keeps just over 30 of it. But our benevolent government feels entitled to 90. So the next time you want to give some greedy bigwig shit for stealing your grocery money, call up one of the assholes in Ottawa. So there's been a bunch of uproar about halal mortgages since the budget came out. Let me warn you now, it's bait. Trudeau is sagging in the polls like an old man's nutsack on a hot day, and he's hoping the Conservatives will say anything at all about it so that he can call them racist. So what do you say? Let's beat him to the punch. Let's get racist. First off, Islam isn't a nationality. It's a religion. Almost a quarter of the planet is Muslim, and they're the majority religion in 49 countries. This may come as a shock, but it's impossible to be racist against them because they're just about, if not every race on the planet. Sorry to disappoint you. Sharia law forbids engaging in financial transactions that bear interest. This poses a problem as lenders expect to see a return on money lent. Fees charged for a transaction are okay, though. So someone came up with a really clever workaround. A mortgage is where you get a loan from a lender to purchase a home. Interest is charged on top of the loan amount, and you pay it back along with the principal amount, usually over 25 years. Depending on the type of mortgage, your payment amounts can fluctuate according to what current interest rates are. A halal mortgage is totally different. You get a loan from a lender to purchase a home. Fees are charged on top of the loan amount, and you pay it back along with the principal amount, usually over 25 years. Depending on the type of halal mortgage, your payment amounts can fluctuate according to what current interest rates are. Totally different.
They're the same picture.
So basically, a halal mortgage is one where you cross out every instance of the word interest and write in the word fee. The mortgage hasn't actually changed. It looks exactly the same as it used to. You know it. I know it. And they're going to try and call it something else, and they expect us to call it something else too. It's basically trans mortgage. The Alberta NDP leadership race has been about absolutely nothing.
The show is about nothing.
I wrote a whole shit ton about it, but I was boring myself to more tears than Trudeau in one of his few question period appearances. So here's the Coles notes. David Shepard said he was going to run, but he didn't because no one cares, or as they say in politics, health concerns. I'll tell you what the fuck actually happened. He called everyone he knew, and they weren't interested in helping him. I get the fact that you feel a little bit silly because you were cocksure of how awesome you were, and let's be honest, the Dunning-Kruger effect is so fucking endemic to the NDP in Canada that you'd think it was one of those side effects we're not supposed to talk about on the internet. Raki Pancholi dropped out because she couldn't raise enough money to run. And keep in mind, the $60,000 total entrance fee is just over half of what it cost each of the 7 UCP leadership candidates to raise. The NDP are not good with money, people. I mean, just for example, the $60,000 entrance fee is to be paid in 3 installments: $18,500, $20,000, and $20,000. Seriously.
For Sam, it just doesn't add up.
And these fucking goofs wonder why their parties are always broke. Jody Callahoo-Stonehouse and Kathleen Ganley are in it. Sarah Hoffman is running, figuratively of course, while maintaining her lifetime streak of never being at the front of any pack in any race. So anyways, it's been more or less nothing interesting at all, completely. But honestly, what did you expect? They're all cut from the exact same ideological mold. You're going to have Nenshi up there saying he wants to raise taxes. Then Hoffman is going to say she also wants to raise taxes. I want to hobble our economy by feeding all our tax money to healthcare. Yeah, well, I want to cripple our economy by feeding all our tax money into healthcare. This is a bunch of dumb people lacking independent thoughts trying to pretend their slight variations in Albertan demise are starkly different somehow. They're fucking NPCs, and the only difference between them are the arbitrary names their parents gave them at birth. The only thing about this entire shit show that has even a tinge of noteworthiness has been the sad tale of Gil McGowan. Gil McGowan, the Alberta Federation of Labor president, has also entered this leadership race and did not need the variance. Now, anyone familiar with this fucking guy shouldn't be at all surprised that he was a long-standing member of the NDP, but it's nice to get formalized confirmation of his allegiance as the union head. I heard a lot of rumors that he sits on the board of directors for the Alberta NDP, but they're all hush-hush about the inner workings of their party, and I was unable to confirm that. It's a lot like those allegations of Trudeau having an affair with one of his high school students back when he was still being a teacher, and that being why he left partway through the school year. Does it make sense? Yes. Does the situation smell funky? Yes. Is there a paper trail? No. So as much as you may think it seems quite credible, you can't technically say for sure. But back to Gil. His campaign has been an absolute shit show, a comedy of errors. If I was an idiot socialist, I'd be embarrassed about his giving them a bad name. The guy forgot to capitalize his name on his website. He released a video that's been seen by fewer than 1,000 people on his 9-subscriber YouTube channel, and that cinematic bastardization was harder to watch than Twilight. He talks about hardworking people like they're a class outside of the NDP, which they are, but you're not supposed to admit that. He doesn't know the difference between 2, 2, and 2. And trust me, I picked up on that right away. I'm something of an expert in twos. His hairline jumps around like it's 1992 and he's at a House of Pain concert. His thumbnail for the interview he did on that idiot fuck Ryan Jesperson show has the resolution tag in the bottom corner. He even went so far as to get an official endorsement from the organization that he's the president of and is parading it around like it's a big win instead of him just looking like a rooster that shat on himself. And his teeth, they're unbelievably yellow. It's bad. I don't even know where to go with this. I mean, every time he smiles, he looks like he's chewing on dirty Post-it notes. Not a word of a lie. This dude would have a better smile if he became a crackhead. And former Mayor Naheed Nenshi is in the race. After the NDP said they wouldn't allow people who hadn't been members for the last 6 months to apply, thereby excluding yours truly from the process, they gave Naheed Nenshi a variance in order to allow him to put his hat in the ring. For those of you who don't know who Nenshi is, lucky bastards, he was the start of the end for Calgary. He and his de facto successor, Jody Gondek, have spearheaded every initiative that turned Calgary into a shit sandwich in a very short amount of time. He spent money like it was going to be worthless. Oh, wait. It is now. Originally, he ran on saying he was a combination of liberal red and conservative blue. That's where the famous purple coloring he's known for came from. And now he's going after NDP orange, which, as we all know, is a combination of communist red and cowardly yellow, or Gil McGowan's teeth. But he's saying the same things all the other candidates are. This whole thing is a stupid nothing burger. It's pathetic. Not a single one of them has a single redeeming characteristic, nor do they have anything more than superficial differentiators in terms of policy. Nenshi is head and shoulders above everyone else in terms of notoriety, but he's packing small rooms with ancient white people. Sure, he'll probably win the race with about 80% of the vote, but if his social media posts are anything to go by, most of his supporters will have died by old age in the next 3 years before the next provincial election. So who should win, twos? None of them. They're all losers. And it doesn't matter anyway, because none of them are going to be a force to reckon with on the political stage. No matter which candidate comes out on top, it'll be Nenshi by a landslide. None of them will be contenders. Definitely not against Danielle Smith. But if I could pick my favorite, it would be Gil. Man, is that guy ever stupid. I'd love to see what he could accomplish with enough leash let out. So no matter who wins, the NDP doesn't. This isn't looking good for you guys. So congratulations on being the next set of embarrassing cousins in Alberta.